It's been a year since I've made my last progress video, a lot longer than I had wanted. And the reason for this being is that I told you guys in the past that this layout is not in the basement of my house. It's actually underneath my laundromat, which is in a different location than my home, so it's not like I can just go downstairs and go into the basement to work on the trains. So I have to find time to work on this layout, either when I'm working at the laundromat or I have to drive here just to spend a couple hours working on the laundromat. And with family obligations, that makes things difficult. So I'm disappointed. That probably the biggest disappointment of this layout is that it's taking me a long time to make progress on it, longer than I'd like. I mean, I enjoy working on it, but I'd like to see the progress be a little bit quicker. But anyway, I've got a lot of new additions to the layout, I think, and it definitely warrants making a new progress video. So here we go. One thing I forgot to mention before was that after I go through to show you guys the whole layout and the changes and additions that I've made, I'm going to be running the camera from the train's perspective around the layout to show you what it looks like from the train's perspective. So here we go. So this is walking into the train room. Nothing has changed here visually. In the last video, I had started plaster wrapping the incline, but I had stopped, so I finished plaster wrapping it. And here it is with the brown color. The wires that you see here, I've actually started wiring up the different blocks on the second loop, on this loop right here. I've wired up the first 3 blocks, so I'm starting to make progress on that. And then what I'd mentioned prior was that I told you that I was going to be making some hills. So what I did was I made some hills here carved it out of foam, and then I covered it with plaster wrap, and then I painted it brown. This brown color that you see, I actually used a different brown that was a lighter color, and it was almost kind of looked like sand, and I wasn't really happy with it. So I went out and bought this color and had to repaint this whole section over again with the new color. And the hills continue over here. And this is where the road is going to go, underneath the tracks. And then this is the bigger hill over here. And to show you guys some of the steps, here are some pictures of how I built the different hills. Some pictures that I took along the way. Okay, continuing around the layout, there's really no changes here. No changes over here. This is the big change here that I made. This is the water scene. I'm kind of proud of this because I've never worked with Woodland Scenics water, or any water in general. And I wanted to put something underneath the bridge here, and I thought a good water scene would be good. Now this isn't finished yet. I've got to put you know, all the shrubbery around it, and I bought some cattails over here that I'll eventually put in. And there's a rock here that you can see in the back. That's just I made that out of lightweight hydrocal out of one of Woodland Scenic's rock molds, and I painted it. I weathered it with the earth color pigment. I had to do several. I had to do it several times to get it the color I wanted. And then you can see these are, wanted to put some deadfall in here. So these sticks that I put in here around the water scene are actually sticks that I got in my backyard. I did have the deadfall from Woodland Scenics, but as you can see, I didn't end up using it. I didn't need to because I could grab the sticks from my backyard. And then I used some rocks that I put some rocks in from the Woodlands, from this Scenic Express. I bought some gravel. So the way that I made this, bridge was that I used the after I cut the homosote out. Here's some pictures of the steps that I did. So in the first step here, I cut the homosote out. Then, after I got it the shape that I wanted, I then covered the whole thing with plaster wrap. And then after I plaster wrapped it, I painted it the Woodland Scenics, the raw umber, I believe it was the raw umber or burnt umber, brown, to give it the dark color as the base coat. Then what I did was I put somebody from one of the Facebook groups that I'm a member of suggested using the earth color pigment, and this is what I used from Scenic Express. It's I got a big jar of it, and what I did was I sprinkled it on top of the brown pigment color and gave it like a more kind of a unique color to the bottom. And then I sprayed it with sprayed it with some glue so it would set. And then I poured the water. I used Woodland Scenic's murky, pre-mixed murky water. And for first time doing water, I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty good. And then at the end, you can't really see it too well. I might have to go back and do a little bit more. I used the Woodland Scenic's water ripples, and I was kind of conservative on using the ripples because I didn't want to make huge ripples for this tiny little body of water, and you can't really see it, so I might have to go back and add some more of the ripples. But I'm pretty happy with it. Then I went to Scenic Express and bought these retaining walls, and I wanted to, in the video I made a year ago, I told you guys that I was going to be using rock molds to put underneath the bridge, but I thought that these looked better and more realistic. I just cut them down to size and glued them in place with the hot glue gun. So I'm pretty happy with how this came out. So that was a big project working on this. So continuing along the layout, there's really no changes over here. And then the next big addition is the red bridge. If you guys, I won't go into detail about how I made this because I made a video on it. So if you guys want to see how I made this bridge, I will put a link. You can click on the link on the upper part of your screen to go to that video now. And then the next addition I did to the layout was Well, first of all, I started adding some shelves because in the last 3 years since I've been collecting O-gauge trains, I've really been buying a lot of pieces of rolling stock. I probably have over 100 pieces of rolling stock now, and all those boxes you see right here, these are all cars that are still in their boxes that I haven't been able to take out. And since I don't really have any yard to store, I haven't built a yard yet to store the trains on, and I don't want to be having all these cars littered around the layout. There's already cars littered around the layout, as you can see, and I just don't want them all over the place. So I haven't taken them out, but in all my running sessions that I've been doing, I've been using the same pieces of rolling stock, and it's kind of been getting boring. Like these cars here, if you've watched my videos, you can probably recognize I've used these in a lot of my videos, and I've kind of gotten sick of using them. They're nice cars, but I want to change things up and make things a little more interesting on my layout on my running sessions. So I started building these shelves so I could start storing my trains. I'll be building shelves over there. I'll build a big shelf under the tables here, and then around the corner over there I'll be building more shelves to store the trains. So that's another addition. And then here's some more hills that I built. And then I really like this the Woodland Scenics rustic tower. And so what I did was I made a platform. I made it to make sure that I measured the base of what the base of the platform would be, that the water tower would need to rest on, and I made sure that it was flat so I could place this water tower here. I think it's a nice addition to the layout. And then you can see all the incline goes down. And I'm not really going to talk about the inclines because I talked about that in my previous video. So I guess for now that is everything on the layout. So I will give you guys a first-person view of the tour of the layout from the train's perspective.